Good morning. It's Wake and Bake, and I guess you just caught me doing exactly what I said I was doing. It is Monday morning. It is Wake and Bake. I'm a little bit late, but I say that I'm never late. We're always exactly on time. Everything happens exactly as it should. I'm coming to you live from my office today here in Farmville, Virginia. As you jump on here, please do me a favor. Please say hello. Tell me where you're watching from, and please drop a Grateful Fed comment in the comments. Good morning from Key Largo. What's up, Grateful Fed comments? So today, Heather is the first one to follow all of the rules. So we're going to say this today, right? We're going to be like Heather because it says hello. Tell us where you're watching from. Heather says, good morning. I'm from Key Largo. And then it says below there, drop a Grateful Fed in the comments. And then Heather drops a beautiful Grateful Fed in the comments. So be like Heather today. Say hello, tell us where you're watching from, and drop us a Grateful Fed in the comments. It is 10:43, which is a lot later than my brain had processed being able to go live today. But you have to make priorities. You have to make your priorities. And so this morning we had our truck come in. We were supposed to have someone new start working with us, and that didn't work out. We always say it'll happen like it's supposed to happen. It's still 10-ish. I said 10-ish, and I was in the 10 o'clock hour, so I felt very confident that I was doing the right thing today. 10-ish is what I said, and I am 10-ish, so that makes me feel a little bit better. Thanks, Heather, for letting me off the hook there. But we are here this morning for Wake and Bake Live, and I'm feeling good today. I a little tired this morning, right? I woke up this morning feeling a little teary-eyed, and I was like, why am I feeling teary-eyed? And I asked the universe, I says, why am I feeling teary-eyed today? And the universe said, you just have to shed some tears to make some room for some blessings. So go ahead, and we keep hearing things pop off. I'll let Daniel know that his order is not ready. We will mark it ready when it's ready. Give me a moment. I'm going to remove myself from the feed for a second. I'm going to put something up for y'all so that you can see that. Give me just one moment. Sorry, y'all. Whew. Take a breath with me. And today we're going to take some breaths because you know what? It is easy. And today's a bigger lesson than maybe I anticipated. And I am live in a few places today. So I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump on here because apparently I just channeled in kind of a big message. We are live today on my personal timeline, which we have been going live there a lot of time, right? A lot of times we have been going live on my personal timeline. We are also live in the Hometown Hippie private group, and we are live on the YouTube channel. So if you're seeing this, wherever you're seeing this, please take a few moments, say hello, tell me where you're watching from, and drop us a Grateful Fed in the comments. Grateful Fed in the comments. We come live on Mondays and talk about Wake and Bake, like what's going on in the world, just a little message. Sometimes it's comical, sometimes it's message, sometimes it's just the nuts and bolts of what's happening. Sometimes it's a pulse check-in, but Mondays is Motivational Monday, right? Motivational Monday. And we try to motivate. And so one of the things that I did yesterday was I was feeling a little blocked. I came in yesterday, did my Sunday sermon. I did my order. I was here till about 4:00 yesterday, just kind of like taking my time, spending some time in meditating in the marketplace here. And I went home last night, and when I got off of work, when I left here yesterday afternoon, I just went home and just said, you know what? I'm just going to not be stressed this afternoon. Like, I'm not going to worry about work. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to go and enjoy my family and just not talk about work and not talk about anything and just enjoy ourselves. We chatted about prom with my niece and about, building our houses and, osculating planes, and we just watched some stuff on TV and we laughed and we just enjoyed our afternoon. And we had dinner, we laughed about dinner, and we had a good evening last night. We watched America's Funniest Home Videos. And then last evening, everybody kind of like after dinner on Sunday nights, everybody kind of goes and starts their I call it the pre-flight checklist for the week. Anybody else do this on Sundays? You kind of start your pre-flight checklist is what I call it. You start figuring out, like, what does the week look like? We had to sit down and say, okay, Juliana's got soccer. Amy's got to be here. She's got a meeting on this day. She's doing this on this day. I've got to go to Harrisonburg on this day. We're doing these things on that day. So there is always kind of moving pieces and parts. So we started like talking about that, like who's going to be where. We started talking about who's going to cook dinner on what nights. What do we need to get from the store? We started doing the nuts and bolts of the week. Well, after dinner, we kind of all go to, like, we do that earlier in the morning, right? We got to get our bearings about us. And then that evening after dinner, everybody kind of goes to their room to create their own personal little checklist, right? Like, do I have clothes that I want to wear? What am I going to wear this week? What is, kind of getting their things organized. And did anybody else do that on Sunday nights? Sunday nights, Red tends to like fall asleep early. He tends to, after dinner, his little pre-flight checklist, right? Because he also is off on Mondays. So Sunday nights, he usually falls asleep right after dinner, 8:00. He's pretty much in his chair and he's back in his chair and he's asleep. And then Amy and Juliana, who are staying with us right now, living with us, they kind of go to their rooms, and it's kind of me on my own with the TV or whatever. I do a lot of like social media scheduling and planning on Sunday nights, and kind of like, I get an idea of what the week looks like, what I have on my plate. And last night I was sitting in my chair doing my pre-week checklist, right? And I kept hearing, get your journal, get your journal, get your journal, get your journal, girl, get your journal on, right? And so I got up from my chair, which is normally my spot that I kind of sit and I have an edible or a bong hit, or, just Sunday nights are for Tammy. And I got up and I put it all away. And I pulled my iPad out, and I got my charger, and I got my body essential oil set, my 4 essential oil, like my thing. I'm like, I need to go meditate. I need to go do these things. So I get in my room and I start opening up my journal, and I'm going to show you because I've got it right here because I brought it to work with me because I keep them in my bag. And I've got some things in my journal that I should not have in my journal, which is another whole other thing. And I started looking. This is like it says here, Tammy's Idea and Business Journal 2023, one of my journals, right? And I started going through here, and I'm like, work. And then in the middle of this journal is my entire Reiki 2 attunement class. My entire Reiki 2 is in the middle of this business journal, with like the next note is grand opening. And it's like, this does not belong in this journal. Then I'm like, what do I need to do? So I said, you know what? I just took a moment. I took a breath, and I used my pink bottle. And my pink bottle says, grounding. I'm like, I need to do a little grounding. I need to be in my body right now to be able to do the things I need to do. I need to make a plan for the week. We have a super duper busy week this week. We have a food show on Tuesday. We have a giant catering, our first big catering event. Not our first big, our second big off-site catering event. This is our largest one. We have 130 people that we are grateful, right? We're grateful to feed on Saturday. And so we have that. We have our press club dessert takeover at the press club on Monday. And so we have to get our desserts ready to fill that order for next week. We're supposed to have someone new starting this week, and that just didn't work out. There's no hard feelings about that. I think they're probably angry right now, but that'll be okay. We're going to hold space that everything will work out in the way that it's supposed to work out for them, because we don't wish them any harm that just wasn't meant for here, apparently, because, punctuality is important. I made a plan. So the first thing I did was I was like, let me get out of my system all of the chores of the day. So if you are someone, this is what apparently today's going to be. If you're someone right now who I talk to you a lot about getting things out of your head and on paper, and if you are someone right now who is just feeling like you're in that loop, that nothing is kind of moving forward in your life, that you're stagnant, that you've got a lot of weird things happening, that maybe you have stuck energy, maybe you're getting some of that 2x4 therapy happening to you, I'm going to encourage you to get a journal out. And if you get into a journal and you get blocked, start with a to-do list. Start with a to-do list. And that's what I did. I started with a list of things. What's up, Shannon? How are you? A list of things I need to get out of my brain, because the first thing to do is I was dumping my brain. It was a brain dump. I was like, oh. So the physical body essential oil blend helped me to get into my body to do a brain dump. Let me get all the things that have been like racking around in my head, out of my head, on a piece of paper, so it makes room for the create. That's what the problem is. I've not got anything out of my head onto paper. I'm carrying it all around here. I'm trying to put the puzzle together without taking it out of the box. So let me put the puzzle pieces out on a piece of paper so I can see them and make them move. So I did a brain dump of everything we had to do this week, of everything, every task that needed to be done, right? I did a brain dump of every task that needed to be done. And I don't know where I have, I know for a daggone fact that I wrote all of this down. It could be on another notebook, possibly. I don't think so. Hang on, I've got more, right? But wait, there's more. But I totally, what I'm saying is like, do a brain dump of all the things that need to go. A to-do list, right? To do. Make sure that there it is. I did a self-care list. Is what I started doing. This is what it was. It was called a self-care list. Self-care list, right? And the first thing it says, pull all journaling and especially Reiki 2 notes and make a master Reiki journal. That was my self-care to-do list. Like, I need to get this stuff out of this notebook to get my journals together. So this is the kind of stuff that I needed to do. I can start marking stuff off. I've started doing that. I've done that. Look at this. I've done a lot of things. I've done that. Did that last night. Did that. I'm going to do that. Perfect. So doing that first initial brain dump, get it out of your head checklist. Then I was able to design that into Monday. That's who's going to do this on Monday. This is going to be done on Tuesday. And by the end of me sitting there, the thing that has been beating me to death, right? The thing that has really been driving me insane is that I've not been able to organize my thoughts for a catering menu. I have a truck menu. I have that written down, and I have that pretty much kind of put together in my head. But I did not have my catering menu, because I'm like, I can do anything anybody asks me. I don't know how to do this. And then I was able to go through, after getting that little bit of stuff out of my head, right? As soon as I took the puzzle out of the box, as soon as all the pieces were laid out, it made perfect sense. And I got a whole catering menu all figured out, right? So If you need to, and this is the first journal. That's what's going to grab the second journal. That was my brain dump. That was getting all the things out of my head. And then I was able to go into my spiritual journal. So I got in my physical body. I did the work I needed to do. Right. I got all of those things out of my head. And then I was able to sit there and I was able to anoint myself with my causal body, my connection to source. I did some deep breathing exercise, was able to connect with my guides for the first time in quite a while. Anybody else ever struggle when you're praying? And I call it, because I meditate and I call it praying, right? Anybody else ever have trouble when you're meditating or praying with not feeling the connection that you need to feel to source, to feeling out of sorts or feeling like you're talking to the world? And sometimes you start going, clearing your mind, right? And you're like, I'm imagining myself walking down a corridor. And then all of a sudden you're walking into your office and you're doing your work, or you're cleaning up, or you start thinking about the grocery list, or your brain goes over there. Anybody else have those moments when they are spending mindful moments, which is supposed to be about like clarity and all these things, and your brain is going squirrel? Can I get a hallelujah, amen? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, but I got more than I bargained for last night. Ooh. Do share, Heather. Do share, Heather. I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste this in here. If Heather would like to click that link that I'm putting in the feed, I just put this into the comments over on YouTube where it's dropping. I'm actually going to go up here and I'm going to send it to Heather and Facebook via Messenger. I am sending this over to you, Heather, and brand ambassadors. It's a link to join me on StreamYard. It is a link to join me on StreamYard. And if you choose to, you can. If you choose not to, you don't have to, but I did drop the link in StreamYard in the brand ambassador chat. If you'd like to join me, you can click that link. I can add you to the studio and you can tell us what you got more than you bargained for last night, because I would love to hear this. If you're comfortable being interviewed by me today on Wake and Bake, I would love to have you on this morning. And if anybody would ever like to join me, let me know. I'll be glad to bring you on. You can click the link I just dropped in the messenger and you can join us this morning. Good morning, Melanie Lewis. So we're talking this morning about getting things out of your head to open. What's up, Victoria? What's up, Kristen? We are trying to talk about how getting things out of your head allows you to open up. So as I grounded myself in my body last night, right? I grounded myself in my body last night. I was able to brain dump a lot of the business nuts and bolts, my pre-flight checklist, right? But Source kept telling me to get into my journal. And I'm going to pull this over here because, my brain does not want to work like that. My brain does not want to work like that. And as you jump on here, y'all, please continue to do me those favors. I had all of my things here tonight, and I even have my oils that I brought with me today, right? And I called my angels, guides, and helpers, and I asked them to be clear and perfect channels. And it's very interesting, how that works. We went over yesterday's Sunday sermon, and it was about, our card was, I like shift your money mindset. I have been looking at some, I have had like 100,000 encounters like lately. Anybody ever have the situations as well? Like I know we can relate, where like you see the same thing over and over and over again, like a synchronicity. So I have been 100% like running into a mouse situation a bunch. So we live in the country and we live on the water and we live out in the country, and there we have mice occasionally. We get mice in, we have an older house. Mice are a thing. I cannot stand a mouse. It scares shit out of me. We do our best to combat, but we deal with mice. So lately I have had like this one mouse and I have been having this moment, and no matter what we do, we cannot catch this. We cannot get this mouse. Is like, my husband is convinced that he has a motorcycle and he has a motorcycle jacket, and this mouse is smarter than all of us combined, right? So Heather says she's going to join me at a later time, that she's doing old man. She's meditating in the marketplace today. She's working while she's doing all this. She's doing some things. So it's not a great day to go live, but she will join us soon. I hope she'll still share the story if she gets a chance to in the comments about what happened last night, because I'm very curious. Mice. And so I looked up a mouse energetically, and it says that mice are resourceful, and that it makes you to remind you to be like cognizant of your resources, right? Just keep it clean and be cognizant of your resources, and kind of have that mouse like mentality. It was a whole thing. I have a journal about it. I'm not sharing it here. It's a personal thing, blah, blah, blah. I went to war with a smarty mouse once too. So frustrating. But so I was like, all right. So I'm seeing, because I was seeing like I bumped into a mouse situation, and now everybody in my house tells me that I am like just seeing mice where there are no mice. They're like, Tammy, you're just seeing things. You're freaking out for no freaking reason. Keep going. I appreciate you. That's a different color today, isn't it?
It is. Usually we get the white. That's it really doesn't matter which copy that we get as long as we get one, but he gave us this copy.
Okay, so that was not, yeah. I mean, this is my imagination, or is this different? I looked it up, and there's a whole mouse thing. There's a whole thing for me about like using my resources more wisely and being cognizant and like being more resourceful and the things that I do naturally. But it reminded me to like lean into that energy a little bit, right? So sometimes when you're seeing those synchronicities, or maybe you're having like war with a rodent, then to look it up. There's something about that, right? So the thing that came through was that as we have grown our team and as things have changed here, I have been consistent in my leadership. I have wanted to bring people along with me to grow them into the roles, which I still 100%, that's my goal. Our community culture here, our work culture here is that of, we're inclusive. We try to make sure when people are on the team that they feel like they matter and that they're heard and that they're seen and all of that. But at the same time, the thing that I'm struggling with is standing in my power, right? And here's where today's message is coming in big, right? I have finally connected with Archangel Michael and another who hasn't identified themselves yet. Woohoo! The energy was like no other before, so now I understand how mentors have told me when you know, still processing. I love that so very much for you. I love that so very much for you. And for me, y'all don't have to do it. Corn, a big lump of loves, it's got to choose. It's my tick. I have to do it. Source is letting me know, right, that whenever it's heal thyself, and that all of these big, I had a big message yesterday about, a little tough love and all of that. But a lot of times we have to give ourselves a little tough love, right? And we talked about yesterday about how we have to maintain our energy and how we have to walk the walk and how we have to not run away from the storm. We have to run into the storm to get through the storm. We can't always, I am OCD. I'm looking like the note. I'm going to go back to it. So I'm going to go over here. I'm OCD about any and I don't want to guest in my house, especially bugs, insects, rodents, and very hard to deal with. That's one reason I'm very hard to deal with when it comes to my house being clean as wet. Girl, you're not. Mice are what they are. And mice can get in regardless. Like I gave up the goat on like feeling some kind of way about it. Everybody has a mouse. Even like the cleanest, newest, richest people's houses have a mouse now and again. That's just part of the circle of life. But I talked about that yesterday about the tree continuing to fall in front of your path. And, stop walking around it and stop stepping over and stop not handling the issue at hand, right? But what the message that came in when I was doing my my journaling last night, when I was coming in today and kind of understanding, like, it's my responsibility. And I was listening to Gary Vee. And if you ever never listened to Gary Vee, listen to Gary Vee. And he talks about how you need to be the fastest promoter and the fastest firer. The potential people have, the skill set they have. Do not tolerate boundaries being broken. It talked about it's my responsibility to lead my team. Like it's for all of the, I mean, you could be a kind leader, right? You can be a kind leader, but it is still your responsibility as the leader to lead. So stop being afraid. That's my goal. That's my role on this team. That's my role, is to be the anchor and the strong person that leads the team. That's what they're going to learn by my example. And just saying, okay, well, what do you want to do? I have to be a leader, and I have to be okay with being a leader, right? And we talk about maintaining our energy and maintaining our composure, and they each want two different cakes. That's funny. So we talk about that, right? I fought a mouse, and a mouse one shattered my knee and broke my tibia. Oh no, that's not good, Shannon. This mouse is I guess the mouse is a bigger deal than I thought. The goal here is to say this, right? It's easy to maintain your energy. It's easy to say everything is wusa. It's easy to say be impeccable with your language, to always do your best, to never take things personally, and to, don't assume anything when everything is smooth sailing. When you are in a protected area, right? When you are in a place where everything is just going along beautifully, when all of the things are happening, it's easy. Like people say, look at you sit up with your high horse telling everybody else to manage their energy, right? But how does that look when you're not in flow, but when you're ebbing, when the waves are crashing against you and all of the things, right? It's easy to say, well, you shouldn't do that, or you should, or you shouldn't, when everything seems like it's just going like gangbusters. It's easy to say that's not a lot of money when you got money, right? It's easy to say $100 is not a lot of money for something when you have money. So it's harder to maintain that or to meditate in that marketplace, right? When you're not there. But what I'm going to tell you is, right, whenever it's hard is when it's important. When it's hard, it shows that you've learned a lesson. And for me, that's what I'm learning right now, right? I'm learning like, hey, the universe is going pop quiz. And I'm coming on here today to share these things with you all because I want you to know that I'm not sitting up here in some fucking ivory tower pointing down and saying, oh, it's not hard. I am in the same place that you are, right? So a lot of you will use that on me when I'm talking and helping and giving advice, and you're coming to me for spiritual guidance, or you're coming to me for healing, or for whatever you come to me for. People come to me for a plethora of things, right? And we talk about that. We're people who I reach to get to pull me and to help me. And there are people who I then extend my hand to help in that sense, right? It's the simpatico. It's the thing is like give a penny, or give a penny, take a penny, right? Give a penny, take a penny. But what I realized last night was, right, is that I've been struggling. I have to give myself grace. I have had a little bit of 2x4 therapy. And as much as some of you out there listen to my sermons, or you listen to what I say, or you listen to my lives, or you come in and you spend time face to face with me, and as much as I'm of service, and as much as there are things that I've worked my way through that I can help with, there are also things that I still struggle with on a daily basis. There are also things that when I tell you out loud, this is how you have to do it, and you look at me like I'm never going to do that, that I know that's the difference, right? I know that the difference lies here, right? It's the micro moves. We talked about this yesterday, right? I'm a pleasant disaster myself. I always try to exude that, but sometimes it seems like I'm all good, but guess what? That's a big nope, right? I just keep moving forward instead of being stuck. That's the difference. Exactly. It's the difference is here. Life does not stop happening to me. I have loss. I have worry. I have a sense of lack. I have things that I want that I can't afford. I get told no. I shared with y'all. I went to my bank, who I have been with for over 20 years, and they turned me down for the loan amount. I am scraping the money together for my food truck right now. The other financing that they told me was a sure deal when all the fine print was printed out. It was a loan shark, basically. I was only going to be paying $200 a month out of my $900 a month payment towards principal. The rest was a rental situation, and that was just money that they kept until 24 months. And then 24 months, they would subtract the $200 a month I had paid. Even though I paid $1,000 a month, they're going to take the rest of that money, and then I would have to owe the rest of the truck. And I said to them, I would rather take every penny I have out of the bank than make that bad decision. But I jumped, right, thinking that was, and then didn't see that, and didn't do the bottom line. There are things that happen. There are people who curse my name. There are people who say "fuck you, Tammy" all the time, you know. But that's part of life. But I said all that to say it's easy to maintain your cool and your energy when things are smooth sailing. But being able to keep your sails in the air, keep a smile on your face, right, when it's hard, that is when the rubber meets the road. And if you're somebody going, girl, I live in disaster, and like, you know, I hear that's what I'm getting at. A lot of y'all think that I can say it and I can do it because my life is so beautiful and so wonderful and so easy. But I'm telling you that is not the case. Everything that we do is work. It is perspective. It is the approach. It is the attitude. It is Motivational Monday. It is Mindful Monday. Right? You can, in this moment, make a decision. I watched this thing this morning on the Today Show. It was about this man who goes out and he does like photojournalism in all these crazy places all over the world. And he ends up, of course, journalists are going into places where trauma and tragedy have struck, like tornadoes and famine and tsunamis and hurricanes and monsoons or war or plague or famine and all these things, right? And he says that, like, how do you go in and be in? He's like, because these people have just, he said the encouragement that I receive, he said, as a photojournalist who's got a hotel and my things are safe across the country or whatever, he says, but I am in these places where people have been through the worst moments of their life, but yet they persevere, but yet they're picking up and helping their neighbors, because in those times, he says, that's where you see the people that shine through, right? When you were complaining about the fact that you ain't got McDonald's money today, there are people in Mississippi and Alabama who just lost a community got wiped out by a tornado. Sometimes it's dim, but it doesn't get closer to the more you push. It does get closer the more you push. You know what I mean? But here's what I'm going to tell you. And we've talked about this too, right? And I believe 100% in always progressing forward. But I also believe in allowing. And forcing is where some of us get into trouble. And I am the world's worst forcer. And Sheila knows that, because I'm like, we're going to make this happen. We're going to get it done. And what I learned through my journaling last night, right? We are all the same spirit souls living in a meat suit in this human existence. Every single one of us, there's no difference between me and Heather, me and Kristen and Sheila and I, Amanda and Melanie and Selena, and we are all of God. We are all divinity. It's how we choose to be divinity and form. It's how we choose to stand in our truth of what divinity we represent. Our personality bodies are determined to keep us small and in our place and sad and weak. But it's time to lean in, to trust in your higher self, to get back into your journal. We are nice, huh? We are nice. We're all nice. We are. And we are all divinity in form. We all are beautifully, individually made creatures who have value, who have everything that you need to be everything you were intended, everything that you signed up for on your contract, right? But each of us are free of choice every day. You can choose to be the victim or you can choose to be the victor. It's the same exact story. The same thing happened, but how you tell your story is perspective, right? How you present to the world, right? Do you, every time you see somebody, are you flipping them off and being angry and mean because the world's been mean to you, so you're mean to everybody else? You choose that. Nobody chooses that. Nobody chooses that. That's the key, is ownership of it, right? I know I'm a hot ass mess. I am a beautiful disaster. I take the good with the bad. But it is perspective. It is choice. It is the million micro moves that you take every day, where in every moment you have the decision to make how to behave. You can choose to be on time for work, or you can choose to be late and then be mad because you are in trouble because you're late. Somebody's fault but your own, right? It's ownership of all of those things. And that's where a lot of people are stuck. That's where the tough love really needs to come in today. Is a lot of people are stuck because you are so busy blaming circumstances and telling me the story of why you are like you are, versus saying, I am how I am and I don't love this part of it. So I'm going to make a micro move to change that part of who I am. I didn't like the fact that I did not feel like I was an effective and consistent leader. I've been struggling with that over the last couple of weeks. The way that I wanted to be treated as an employee is the way that I've been treating people. Not saying that that's wrong, but I also understand the need to have leadership and be a leader. Now, I can continue to tell myself why I'm a bad leader and allow that to ruin my business and not take micro moves to change it or address it, right? Pretend it's not happening and blame everybody else when things go wrong. I could be mad at my bank for not loaning me money. I could be mad at the loan shark company, but I said, here's the deal. I was excited about my food truck. I had sent the deposit. He told me it was taken care of. I did not do my due diligence. The only person to be mad at in that situation is myself. And I shared that story to share with you that things are not always easy. Things don't work out like I want them to always work out. I am working my ass off to be able to afford this food truck, every piece of it. My thought was the bank would loan me the money. I would not have to do that. I have a small little loan that I can easily afford. I'd have this money that I've worked for set aside to be able to use for operating capital. That was always the plan. Because I got overexcited, I let ego lead the way. I didn't stay within my smartness. I made some bad choices. I am not pissed off about it. It happens exactly as it's supposed to happen. I could sit there and fester and let it build up on me. I could let it make sickness in my body, which is what it has been doing. All these things, all the little not feeling goods, all the little swelling up, right? Life for people who are further in their journey or not, it's not cakewalk. None of this just stops getting like, if you're on this path and maybe you've done good, you've been meditating, everything. Because a lot of you, I see a lot of you, right? You come through the journeys, you're here and here. You're like, I'm doing really good. And you just expect, you have this expectation that like, once you do good, everything stops being hard. The universe is no, the world keeps happening. It is your responsibility to allow the world to come into you. Don't allow that negativity to imprint on you, but your light should imprint on that negativity. That you are brighter than the circumstances that you are in. You are not those circumstances. You are the one noticing those circumstances. You have the ability. Stop blaming other people for the things that are not right in your life. If your life is not going the way that you want your life to go, the only person in the entire world who is responsible for that is you. And that is the toughest love that I can ever give. And it's hard for me to say out loud. There's no light without the darkness. There's no light without the darkness. Life is not easy for anyone. But I say all the time, life is easy. Living is easy, right? Living is easy. Living is easy. It's easy as taking a breath. And I want to tell you, it's kind of like anything you do for 28 days, it becomes a habit, right? Anything you do for 28 days becomes a habit. So when you start making those micro moves, they start becoming who you are. They start changing the core of who you are. You've retrained your brain to be a positive Patty. You've retrained your brain to see the positive side of things. Then you're going to see more of where your mind goes, your energy flows. It gets easier, right? Things happen. Trees still fall down. I still have to chop them up and do the work. But they don't cost me a year of my life chopping up a tree. It costs me a day. You know, picking up the branches might take me a couple of weeks, take me a couple of hours. That's what I'm telling you, right? As you take and you chop down these big trees and you start looking at perspective and you start doing this work or you start taking those micro moves, the first ones are all like the first love is the deep. The first is the hardest, right? That's the big stuff. That's the stuff that you know. It's the reason it feels so heavy is because you know it. It's not even hard. It's like, you know, it's the stuff it's the things that put you where you are today, right? It's the pushing down of the emotions. It's the not having the conversations, the toxic relationships. It's the things that are in your face that you know are first, second, third priority that you don't want to handle. The things that you just keep putting off. That's why the trees get big. So once you start chopping down those big trees, I've spent 3 years with like a lumberjack, chopping down trees. That is our shadow work. That's that big shadow work. The trees that fall on my path now are more like dogwoods, right? They're a little smaller. I can kind of move them out of the way. I can, use a handsaw, a little chopper and get rid of them. They're nothing that's going to like keep me on this, stuck and having to camp on this path for months and years. I've had trees that took me months and years, right? I have trees that have done that. But when things get good, you often get leveled up soon thereafter. Leveling up tries you. It does. And that's what happens, right? We kind of go through this pattern. That's the up and down. We talk about the hills and valleys, right? So you go through your spiritual path and like you're going up your path, like, things are going good. Things are going good. Things are going good. I'm in my practice. I'm taking my breaths, all of the things. So because things get good, right? We're at the top of the mountain. They kind of level out. We tend, right? Those of us like me who are hard-headed, we tend to get outside of our spiritual self. We stop doing all the things we need to do. And then we kind of like, we do a nosedive, or the universe throws something at us and we can nosedive it. Now, some of us catch the valley and come on back up. Some of us do like a straight rappel down and have to like climb our way back up. But here's the thing, right? No matter how far down you fall, it only matters how many times you get back up. So if you are somebody who's struggling today, maybe today was a shit day for you already. It's Monday and it's shit day. In this exact moment, you can begin again. You can start over. You can make a plan to chop the tree down and start that work in this instant. But it takes you deciding. It takes you deciding. So we're going to pull our morning, our Monday, the Mindful Collection Daily Affirmations. We pull one of these on Mondays. Feels like a roller coaster sometimes. It does. And here's the thing though, right? When you start taking care, you start doing life affirming things like staying in your meditative practice, using your journal, getting outside and getting some fresh air, standing in your boundaries, cutting down the trees. Then your roller coaster goes from the rebel yell to like the Scooby-Doo, if that makes sense, right? We are going to have hills and valleys and bumps and bruises. But I'm going to tell you that the more you commit to your healing, the more you commit to being working with your higher self and stepping outside of those stinking thinking and things like that, the much easier the ride is, right? The much easier the ride is as you ascend up that level. I am the queen of shine until it rains. I'm learning to navigate the rain and faith in the fact the sun comes back. It only takes a moment. And here's the thing: you're your own sunshine, right? You're your own sunshine. And I'm claiming right now that there's a lot more sunny days than rainy ones. And even the flowers need the rain to grow. So the rain is like you said. You have to understand your the dark to get to the light. This one just jumped out upside down today. My soul is infinite and divine. My soul is infinite and divine, and that's what we're talking about, right? You're just living in this incarnation. This is but a blip on the scale, but your soul is infinite and divine. Lean into your soul work, lean into your soul circle, your soul family. Know that you are loved, that you are an infinite and divine being, and give yourself the love that you deserve every single moment of every single day. When you treat yourself like something you love, your life will change. I promise you it will. For those of you that are out there struggling today in this world, some of you watch me and you just watch and you listen and you tell yourself the story of why you will never be in this position, why it's all a bunch of woo-woo and a bunch of BS. And if you're watching that and you're still saying all of those things, I want you to look around. And you cannot create a solution from the space that the problem was created. If you are creating your own darkness, I'm going to ask you to stop creating your own darkness and start creating your own sunshine, because you deserve it. Your soul is infinite and divine. You are loved. You are worth it. We here at the Grateful Fed community are here with open arms. Moving forward in this new adventure we're doing, I'm going to encourage you to get in your journals, to get your feet in the dirt, to reach out and find someone who can help. If you need a penny, take a penny. If you've got a penny, leave a penny. Right? I'm gonna take some pennies sometimes. I do my sessions twice a month to kind of take my pennies. I do my spiritual work. Right? I take my pennies. Therefore, I'm able to leave a penny. That is my goal. That's how the power of one, right? One penny at a time. Going out, and that's how you change the world. And I'm going to tell you all this. I'm going to tell you this right now. Our goal is to raise the collective vibration. And we talk about the power of one and doing that one person at a time. And some days that person has to be you. I'm going to encourage you today. If you are not feeling like your energy is up, you're not feeling like you matter, you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling like you can go out and change the world today, like the only person you can change the world for today is you, please be the sunshine in your own life today. If you're struggling getting up, just get up today and get out of the bed and get on the couch. If you've been on the couch for a couple of days and that's as far as you've gotten, try a shower today. If a shower if you got a shower yesterday and you want to try to go put on some clothes and just go out and walk outside today, right? My mom always told me you can't save the world, my response, but it's not a bad goal. I love that. We can't, like I said, I wish I could, but I believe that as individual people, we have the ability to save the world for one other person. And what I'm going to tell you is this: when I talk about going out and being like the power of one, it is not going out and playing like rescue ranger, right? That is not my goal. Is not to go out and pay your bills off or to take away all of it hurt or give you the exact, here's a to-do list of what to do. But what I'm here to say to you is that you have to make the decision. Your world is 100% the reality of your world, the abundance of your world. All of those things are in your hands. If you want to have a beautiful life, all you have to do is decide to have a beautiful life. It is that easy. And when I say that and you like bullshit, I'm telling you, it is that easy. When you treat yourself like something you love and you make the decisions in your life to have a beautiful life, when you are really ready for that, it will happen. When I decided on July 19th of 2019 that my world was no longer going to be awful, in that moment it changed. Your life can change in a moment. It does not take years. Your life can change in a moment. All it takes is you deciding that you want to be better than you were in the moment before. It's a million micro moves. Go out today, start making one micro move. It's as simple as going from here to simple as that. As simple as that. It's as simple as saying Thank you, universe. Thank you. And that could be your prayer. Do a thank you meditation. Thank you. Thank you for all of my blessings. Thank you for all of my lessons. Thank you for the life that you have given me. Thank you for the air in my lungs. Thank you for the air in the world to breathe. It's as simple as that. When my daughter was little, I dressed up like the Easter Bunny. I got naked from the school. And showed up with Easter baskets and stuff. It was such an incredible feeling. It's priceless. I got names from the school. I was like naked from the school. I was like, I don't know how. I'm like, Lisa, it's like, this just took a weird turn and I'm not sure how I feel about what you just said. Thank you for the laugh, because laughter also raises the collective vibration, and we have not done that enough either. So thank you for that. It costs nothing to be kind. You're right. It costs nothing to be kind. So go out today, be kind. And here's the thing. Thank you, universe. I love that. Thank you, universe. That is a complete sentence. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you. Right? So today, go out and be the change you want to see in the world for yourself. Change your world today. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you. Your soul is infinite. Your soul is divine. I'm going to get off of here. It's like the song, thank you for the sun. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the joy. Thank you for the pain. Yep. I want to thank you for letting me be myself again. Apparently I'm tone deaf, which I didn't know. My niece told me I was. I was like, oh, I just thought I couldn't sing. She's like, nope, you're tone deaf. I appreciate y'all. And on that note, we are going to end today's live, as always, with a little peace, love, and feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. Have a great day, and I love you so much. Talk to you later.